Okay, and it's usually what?
Is it actually the same word, or is it the same?
Yates.
What's the difference?
Vayitzer is two yuds. That's
Does it mean the same thing?
it's all one verb. It's all one yud tzadik resh. So
To create. When you put it on the yud, what happens to it? It sounds the same. It's just like that's why they found that it has a kind of
it's a hint. It's a subtle allusion to the fact that we have an extra added something over the animals.
So she's asking the word, you add an extra yud. The word, is that what your question is?
Yeah, but does it
She's
change
changing the word.
meaning
Are
of
you
the
making a
word?
new word, or are you just playing with the word?
It's just the same. It's the same word, just spelled two different ways.
Yeah.
Which is used in one case for one thing and another for another.
Yeah, just here, it's the symbolic significance of having two yuds. You don't need them. They didn't have to be there. The word is pronounced vayitzer, and it has that extra yud in order to emphasize that. And it's the heavenly and the earthly. That man is the composite. He's the soul and body. And here he's emphasizing the aspect of the good and the evil. So that's okay. That's what he says here. And in Hebrew it says vayitzer b'shnei yudin v'hem shnei yitzarim, that the two inclinations, yitzer tov v'yitzer ra, hainu han machshavot tovot, that is to say, in terms of its positive thoughts are the product or are connected to yitzer tov, the machshavot ra'ot, and negative thoughts, wicked thoughts, hem yitzer hara, they are the product of this evil inclination.
So is that the hero?
Okay. Yerhor?
Hero?
Whatever. I mean, he's being totally untouchable at this, still, even to this late point. That's why we're saying it's not a regular lesson where Rabbi Natan used to unfold things. Here, this is terse, and there's almost no way to break in it, other than just to go along with it at first and to see where he's going. He's a master of associative thought, and you don't see. It's like in the movies. He's Lahabdil Elef Hadal. He's like the Fellini of Judaism. Nowadays, they all learn from Fellini, so all the movies are pow, pow, pow. And the mind somehow we were able to see a movie. Like somebody coming from like a shepherd has never seen a movie before. It's very, very problematic for him to see these things moving so quickly on the screen. We catch it. We catch what's going on. It's amazing what we can do. But so that's how he thought.
May I ask it's probably Bria Yetzira and Asiyat of the evil as well as the Bria Yetzira and Asiyat of the good. Are they right and left, or it's top down? Bria Yetzira Asiyat of the good, and then Bria Yetzira Asiyat of the evil. Are they like this, or are they like that?
It's a good question. I present them sometimes one way and sometimes the other, because no one way can ever do justice to these ideas. They're I literally presented it in both ways. One way is when the Zohar says that there's a light, there's a beam of light coming down, and it comes down all the way into the lower world, and the system of evil attaches itself onto the bottom, to the tail end of the light of holiness, and it tries to suck its sustenance off from there. This is the Zohar that explains that Moshe was told, Bo el Paro, come to Paro, and it should have said Lech el Paro, go to Paro. And Moshe said, well, what do you mean come to Paro? God, you're saying come up to me and you'll find out where Paro is in the higher worlds. And Moshe went up and up and up, and he saw that Paro was rooted up in a very high place. It was frightening. And Hashem said, don't worry, that's only the tail end of something much, much, much higher. So one way is that evil is down further, but it is allowed through human beings. Evil is allowed to creep up into and make incursions into the higher world, even up into Bria, which is very frightening, which means the corresponding level of thought within man. That's where it really has its most subtle effect, is in man's thoughts, our emotions and our needs, and then in our actions. But it's the subtle level of thought which is the most dangerous. And it's described as evil entering into Bria. And as man can give power to evil, it's very much like Star Wars. And we don't understand it completely, but evil can somehow enter into the higher domains and infect them. And it's like, wait, and in Atzilut they say no. The verse in verse 5, in Psalm 5 says, Lo Yegur Chara. Evil cannot dwell with you. And with you refers to the highest dimension, the inner of the inner. It's only from Bria downwards is a possibility. You see, everything I say, in a sense, needs commentary, and it's a difficult thing. But the Ari says that Hashem wanted to create the power of evil, and so in Bria is the first smidgen of evil. It's Rubo Tov Mi'ut Ra. There's only a little bit of evil, or the possibility of evil, the roots of evil in Bria, and mostly good. In Yetzirah it's 50-50. In Asiya it's mostly darkness and only a little bit of good. And this is only, again, in order to tell us it's not an absolute thing, because it's really Hashem's power is absolute, and there's no such thing as evil from Hashem's point of view. He is master over everything. He created everything for a purpose. But from our point of view, what we have to do, which is to overcome the negative. When we speak from below to above, it's our job to overcome barriers. We have to face barriers and know with the power of with the power of that there's nothing but God, that this barrier has only been put here in order to make me grow, in order for me to come into almost like a relationship with it, where I take back what it's taken from me, like in Aikido. So, up, down, right, left.
So in this case, it would be hanging from Malkut of Berea. But then when we look at the tree of life, Samael,
Someone's at the door.
they're all on the left side of the tree of life. That's where Samael is.
Well, we don't say the name, and we don't say the corresponding name on the side of holiness, of Matat. We don't say the whole name. If you want to say them, it's up to you, but I wouldn't say them if I were you. So Sam, or Samech Mem, is the flip side of Matat.
Wow.
Just like the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the flip side of the lower aspect of the tree of life. And so really, our job is to bring this back into here, to enfold the left in the right, to show that everything was created for a purpose, and to be uplifted and refined. Here within the Torah, Rabbi Nachman is not giving us very much to work with yet.
You mentioned the concept of the power. Maybe you wonder. Bolaparo.
Bolaparo.
I'm wondering, when we look and we see all the social and evil, what's the difference between what's represented by Paro and what's represented by Amalek?
You're asking?
Yeah.
Well, you know the Matrix? You know everybody see the Matrix? You know where does the Matrix screw its pipeline into the human brain? Where did we have to free Neo from when he was still in a pod? Back here.
Oh.
This is where Paro is, and Amalek, and Nachash. That's where it comes and attaches itself on. And so it comes between Chokhmah and Bina and the lower Midot in order to distort. Even if you know the truth, but if you're distorted in how you apply the truth, this is where Nachash grabs on.